Molini, and welcome to yet another episode of Conversations with Lankosi. Now, this is the news commentary section where we will be offering insightful commentary and exploring various perspectives on the stories that shape our world.
The Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, recently came under fire for his tweet that promotes the pending invasion of taverns in our townships by Heineken, which is linked to the controversial Bill Gates. Let's get into it. Now, before Siagote, let's just, have a small and brief background check. Now, Mr. Panyaza has served as the Gauteng MEC for Education from May 2014 until October 2022. This changed briefly when he was appointed as the Gauteng MEC for Finance and E-Government in May 2019, but returned to being the MEC of Education a day later. We all remember, I think there was a whole frenzy on social media where we were just there like, this man has been doing good as the MEC of Education, or at least that's what we thought. And so why is he now being the MEC of Finance, And luckily the president usimamele wamphindisela, so that's why he was just MEC of Finance and E-Government for a day. Mr. Lesufi is also a member of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature for the African National Congress and is the chairperson of the party in the province, as well as a member of the South African Communist Party. He served as the acting MEC of Social Development following the death of Umamthuli Swangabi Ndekawe in November 2019 until the appointment of Nomathemba Mokheti in June 2020. Mr. Panyaza Lesufi currently serves as the 7th Premier of the Gauteng province. Let us get into the articles and everything else that is just related to this topic. Now, in an article published by The Star, it was reported that the Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, has received widespread criticism for promoting a Taverns of the Future project while having recently stopped issuing liquor licenses in the province. On Tuesday, Lesufi took to X, previously Twitter, to announce that he had been briefed on the project. He said that this envisaged project would bring about change and innovation in the liquor industry. Today, we received a full briefing to launch Taverns of the Future in our communities. The Tavern of the Future will blow your mind. Thanks to the new Heineken vision, exciting times indeed, the Premier tweeted. However, many South Africans have reacted with anger to the initiative due to the dangers of alcohol in the country viewed against rampant crime, road accidents, and the massacre of patrons of these establishments. The Gauteng Liquors Traders Association on Wednesday said it was astonished by the Premier's announcement following his recent pronouncement stopping the issuing of liquor licenses. GLTA had taken notice of the utterances of the Premier on 14 November at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg, stating that they had halted issuing of liquor license in an effort to help and fight against drugs and the sale of illicit goods. The Honourable Premier of Gauteng went on to claim that alcohol is a gateway drug, and this is where other and stronger drugs stem from, and is on record that halting of issuing of liquor licenses was to build capacity to monitor compliance of licensed businesses, the association said. It is said Lesufi had not consulted the industry when announcing the pause in issuing trading permits. GLTA is astonished by the assertion of the Premier that they had convened a meeting with all liquor organizations in the province within the liquor industry and that the liquor industry had applauded them on the decision to halt issuing of liquor license. This assertion is unfortunate and untrue. We deny categorically that we had agreed on the halt on issuing liquor licenses in the province and the claim that the scale of liquor is a gateway to drugs and illicit goods, the association said. The EFF condemned Lesufi's promotion of alcohol and alcoholism as a grave concern for the country's overindulgence in alcohol. The creation of taverns in communities not only promotes alcoholism but also exposes the ANC's clueless business and creating jobs and resolving the dire economic situation Gauteng residents find themselves. Worth mentioning, the creation of new taverns is consistent with apartheid spatial planning policy that seeks to further trap Black people in a state of hopelessness, drunkenness, and pacification. Taverns serve nothing but to contribute to the high levels of crime in townships, the EFF in Gauteng said on Wednesday. Attempts to get comment from the Premier were unsuccessful at the time of going to print. Now, this is an article that was published by The Star. Moving on to the next. This article published on the 16th of November via the Times Live website. It was reported that the Premier has been criticized for his public endorsement of Heineken's Taverns of the Future project. Many people on social media lambasted the Premier, describing his endorsement as hypocritical because of his stance on drug and alcohol abuse in communities. Some shared Lesufi's previous posts on socials, which he said the problems of alcohol are real. This problem of alcohol needs brave soldiers, not the faint-hearted. An alcohol-free South Africa is possible. Let's build it now. The provincial government's partnership with Heineken came a day after Lesufi talked tough on halting the issuing of liquor licenses in the province, decrying alcohol abuse in communities. Lesufi defended himself, saying though he had strong opinions about alcohol abuse, as the Premier he had to consider attracting investments for economic development. When I lead the government, it's not about my personal views, but attracting investments and creating jobs and opportunities for all. My personal standpoint on alcohol remains, he said. International Relations and Cooperation Department Head of Diplomacy, Clayson Monyela, was among those who were not impressed by the Premier's move. My dad was murdered at a tavern in Kagiso. He was only 33. Taverns traumatize me. My heart breaks when I see companies such as Heineken getting endorsements from my government to expand further into our communities. The few jobs they're promising are not worth the thousands of lives these people are going to destroy. This is good for Heineken, not for us. I'm so pissed, Monyela posted. Some people related to Monyela's experience and shared that taverns were also scenes of the murders of their loved ones. Though Lesufi did not share much information about the launch, some people said it would negatively affect township taverns. The Premier was confident this would not be the case. Wait until we launch. You will not be disappointed. Rebranding and repositioning are crucial for the survival of our economy. According to Heineken, the Taverns of the Future project is intended to transform the establishments and introduce strength and safety. Our business would like to support a change from the negative perceptions around taverns to developing modern taverns of the future, moving to sophisticated gathering places that are not centered on excessive drinking, but rather offer quality occasions with good food, company, and entertainment, Heineken MD Jordi Borut said at the project's launch. Heineken Business Development Manager Burton Swain said the company wanted to transform taverns by investing in them and revamping infrastructure. To qualify for these upgrades and support, tavern owners need to commit to and sign agreements showcasing themselves as responsible alcohol retailers, Swain said. These commitments include not selling alcohol before lunchtime, not selling to those under 18 years of age, and agreeing to ensure they do not encourage or support excessive alcohol consumption. Through recognition and a rewards program, taverners are also regularly coached to ensure they are maintaining their responsibility commitments. Hey, Kessan, Yintsomi. This article, published via Times Live, reported that Thandiswa Mazwai slammed Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi after he announced they received a briefing from Heineken on the launch of Taverns of the Future. The singer took to her timeline saying his action was counter-revolutionary considering the history of alcohol abuse in South Africa. The DOP system had our forefathers hooked with no future. We complain about alcohol advertising in the Kasi and then they do this. South Africans already have trauma and a huge booze problem. No. Tandiswa said, I don't like calling her Tandiswa. Indlovukazi Tandiswa said the Premier should focus on empowering community members instead. What we should be thinking about, Mr. Lesufi, is how to bring more arts and science centers for the future of our children. The Black community is already drowning in booze, especially bored young people. The tavern of the future is only here to cement the destruction of Black people. You could be upgrading Kasi schools. Many have remained the same since I was a kid. No sports grounds, no music or arts center. Also, the Kasi is full of unemployed people who drink to forget, and you do this. Now. Why would the Premier be the one to come out and promote this taverns of the future idea when he was once an advocate for alcohol-free townships? Do we need to remind him about our beer hall past, or is that too deep for your fave? Mind you, we're still in exam season, and he was one of the, he was once the MEC of Education in Gauteng, so the calculations weren't properly calculated in this instance. This stunt led to the uncovering of his old tweets condemning the promotion of alcohol due to it being among the destroyers of homes and the future of the country. It was a poorly calculated move, which makes us question who may be behind the funding of his views. That's if he has any. Anything linked to Bill Gates isn't good for us, and yet here we are allowing him to access the same townships the Premier's organization has failed to empower nor maintain that they deliver quality basic services. Instead of investing in sports grounds, training centers, reopening and revamping libraries, upgrading our schools and clinics in the township, the Premier, who was once an alcohol-free campaign ambassador, is now celebrating a multinational corporation's launch of taverns, innovative taverns at that, in our townships. That time, we recently had a tavern shooting in one of the townships up by Kurleni, not long ago, which happens to be a region that is located in his province. Mind you, the Premier keeps on promoting the mass surveillance idea as an innovative way to tackle crime in our communities. How did we even get here? How did we get here? Wasn't in the article that I read at first, he called these people the people from the liquor licensing people, right? And people that deal with that. And he told them Hori is going to stop that and put it on pause because they're trying to combat the issue of illicit substances and an end. A day after, he comes out to promote the Heineken thing. All in the name of what? Moving with the times, and we're going to see when it happens. What happens exactly? Because you were out here singing the song of revoking or stopping the issuing of licenses here because you guys want to ensure that you deal with this illicit substance and dondonis, right? And then the following day you come out to tell us about taverns of the future. And Heineken is the one that's bringing us these taverns of the future. The same Heineken that is linked to Bill Gates. And then there's McCain Foods. Guys, if you actually look this thing up, the taverns of the future thing, especially what they're trying to create here in South Africa, it's broad. Yes, he's not lying when he says it's a big thing, but it's weird, man. It's like, but who's going to benefit from this kakulu? Who is going to benefit? Is it not the private companies? So I'm shocked. I'm surprised. I think I'm Yeah, no, I'm on the same boat and the same wave as everyone that is just questioning what could have inspired this and claiming that, you're trying to attract investors and stuff. Hence, it's just people cannot now come here and bring up your own personal views. Yeah, no, that's not the justification we were looking for. That's not the answers that we're looking for. Because again, it makes us question you having a backbone as a leader. Like, are you even an independent thinker? But then again, it comes back to humble me because it's like, stop asking these questions. Politicians will always be politicians, you know? So son. Long story short, mine is let us refrain from selling our people out and diminishing the little chances that Gussie economy genuinely has by allowing private companies that have our worst interests at heart the right or power to control our lives and influence us in a negative manner. We can do better. We can do better, Mr. Premier. We can do better.
That concludes today's video. Remember, the goal is not just to inform, but to inspire critical thinking and foster a diverse exchange of ideas. I appreciate the time you've spent with me today and look forward to bringing you more engaging content in future episodes. As always, be sure to follow us. Conversations with Lankosi on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and also our YouTube channel, Chonga. You subscribe, you follow or you subscribe, light the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any new episodes, right? And then please do visit our website, Lankosi Writes, and share your thoughts and feedback. Enkosini for listening to the Conversations with Lankosi podcast. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay empowered.